Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Behind the Beard. As always, my name is Coleslaw. Before I get into the main topic of this video, I just wanted to take this time to correct a couple of mistakes I made in the previous videos. You know, in the name of accuracy, make sure that y'all don't think I'm trying to be misleading or just don't know what I'm talking about. The first mistake I want to correct was in the introduction video. At one point towards the end, I'm talking about a couple of videos that I was thinking about doing reviews on. One of which was Let Me In, which I had stated starred a Chloe Moretz. Now, I'm not saying there isn't an actress named Chloe Moretz. I'm not saying that there isn't a great actress named Chloe Moretz. Chloe Moretz is not in this movie. The correct name of the lead actress in Let Me In is Chloe Moretz. Chloe Grace Moretz, if you're wanting to get technical. So I'm definitely going to try to get that review up in the next few days. That's Chloe Grace Moretz, not Chloe Moretz. The second mistake that I'm wanting to correct right now is definitely with my poster back there. I should be really ashamed of. It's obviously in my Green Lantern review. At one point, I'm naming off some of the minor characters in the Green Lantern universe, and one of them I name is Kilowog. Obviously, if you read the actual Green Lantern comics, if you saw the movie, even if you saw the Green Lantern Emerald Knights animated film tie-in, you would know the correct name is Kilowog. That's Kilowog, not Kilowag, so definitely, considering I will be talking about Green Lantern a lot, whenever I do, I need to remember to wog before I wag. So, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the main topic of this video. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Matt for suggesting this movie we're going to be talking about today. It's called The Collector. It's a movie from 2009, was directed by Marcus Dunstan, who also wrote it with a Patrick Melton, which obviously, according to what's on the video, they did Saw 4 through 6, along with a Saw 3D from last year, and the 3 Feast movies. Definitely off the top, I need to let y'all know there's going to be a lot of references in this video to the Saw franchise. Obviously, with them having done the majority of it, there was bound to be an influence from those films on this movie. So definitely going to be a lot of comparisons in that aspect. One of the first things I want to talk about is just the genre of this film. It's kind of a genre bender a little bit in that it mixes two different schools of horror movies. The first one being obviously the quote-unquote torture porn school of horror movies, which is definitely what Saw falls under, what's Hostel falls under, some more obscure movies fall under that. And then it mixes in elements, though, of old school slasher films. Definitely like a Halloween, Friday the 13th vibe under all that. So let me go ahead and get into the plot of the film. It stars a Josh Stewart, who, if you watch a Criminal Minds, you might recognize from a minor reoccurring role on that show, as Arkin, a ex-con slash handyman who, through some dealings with loan sharks, is forced to steal a ruby from this family whose house he's working on. He goes when he thinks they're going to be gone. What he ends up walking in on is a masked man who is torturing the family and has set booby traps to keep Arkin in the house. One of the things I first want to talk about is the killer himself, called the Collector. He's obviously, as I stated, he's a masked character. At no point do they actually show his face. They tease it at one point, but don't actually show it. He doesn't speak any lines at all. They do towards the end of the film let you know who he is, but they don't give enough information to really ruin the character for you. One problem that I kind of had with the representation of not just the character, but in just the movie in general, was that they really kind of didn't fill out the plot too well. The big thing with the killer is obviously the movie's called The Collector, yet his human collecting, which gets a passing mention as best, is never really fully explained. They concentrate more on the booby traps and the torture, obviously. My other problem is that Arkin isn't really filled out very well. Up until they get into the house, there's no explanation of why he went to jail, what got him involved with the loan sharks, other than the mother of his child obviously is somehow involved, or who the gangster guy that he speaks to at the beginning of the film has to do with and what he has to do with them. So that could have been fixed a little bit, especially considering how much detail the Dunstan and Melton usually put into the characters in the Saw films. So that kind of disappointed me, but it's not a movie killer for me. What will definitely bring a lot of people to the table with this film is the death scenes. It's pretty gory. It's not Saw 6 level of gory, but it's still really gory. They got really creative with a lot of the deaths in here. We got a room filled with bear traps. There's one room where he has a glue all over the floor with a guillotine attached to the window. There's rooms with fish hooks, and in the main room that a lot of the torture takes place in is in the basement, which every time they're in the basement, they kind of give the Saw lighting with a bright yellow background. They got the main guy in the house attached to a chair with handcuffs, and the woman tied up with a blindfold and a gag. One of the refreshing things about this is that the collector does get more hands-on than a lot of the villains in these torture porn films. Obviously, Jigsaw, except for when he was setting up, never really touched any of his victims in the film. So that was definitely a refreshing take on that. One of the funny things about this film is that towards the end, it almost gets set up to like anything the main characters do just basically ends up coming back to bite them, whereas anything that they actually do to the collector is almost minor, a minor inconvenience at the most. So that was definitely funny, and definitely at the end they do set up for a sequel, which apparently in October they started filming the sequel. It's going to be called The Collection. Definitely, whenever that comes out, I'll check it out, possibly do a review. I do suggest this movie. Obviously, I bought a copy of it. Definitely rent it. It's definitely something worth adding to your Netflix account or going to the video store or whatever you do to get a film. So what do you think of this film if you've seen it? Is this something that you would want to see? What do you think of the torture porn genre in general, with that kind of giving away to the ghost film genre? Definitely with the end of Saw, that's going to be real interesting to see how they continue that genre. Is there any movie similar to this that you may want me to cover? Are you excited for The Collection? Which definitely Dunstan and Melton are going to be at the helm of that. So definitely leave comments down there. I do look at them pretty much every day, and I will have responded to a few of them. So definitely, if you have an opinion, leave it. My name is Coleslaw. This has been Behind the Beard, and that's my opinion. You don't like it, form your own.